Hi, welcome to Carrie Creates Cards. Today I will be creating a beautiful card using Tim Holtz Distress Oxides along with the beautiful Lavinia Stamps. I hope you enjoy watching. If you do, please give me a thumbs up and I would love if you would subscribe to my channel. For today's card I'm going to be using this Stencil by Enchanted Forest. And I'm going to be using these beautiful Lavinia stamps, and also going to be using some of the Tim Holtz Distress Oxides and maybe some that aren't Oxides also. And to begin, I'm going to use an 8x8 card base, and I've cut my cardstock down to 6x6. I'll be working on this piece, and just for a layered effect I've cut this brown piece of cardstock down just slightly smaller than the 8x8 to create a nice matte and layered effect. So these are the inks that I've decided to use, the colours, and we'll get started. I'm going to start with the crackling campfire. Just ink it up well. Start from the edge of the cardstock and work my way in. And do the same on the other side, working my way into the middle. I'm also going to do a moon. These are just pieces of acetates that I've cut out. That one will be too large, so I think I'll use that one. And I'll just hold it down there while I lightly go around the edge. Blending that colour down so that we can transition it into the next colour. And the next one will be the spiced marmalade. Might actually be better if I put a bit of tape. Let's take some of the stickiness off of that. I'll just put that onto the moon. Let's place that back down there. Hopefully it won't tear my cardstock when I remove it. But we'll go in, as I said, with the spiced marmalade next. And working our way down. And blending it back in with the previous layer, so as to get a nice even transition between the two shades. So I just go in circular movement, around the cardstock in order to get a nice even blend. So next I think we'll come in with our walnut stain. And I don't have a brush for use on that, but I do have little ink pads. So we'll try this. It's an old one. Hopefully I'll be able to blend that. Might have gone in a tad dark there, but we'll keep working with it and we'll blend it out. And don't worry too much. Sometimes you end up with a mess. If you keep working on it, you'll get it to come together. Back in a bit with that spice marmalade. Yeah, it's a bit of a better blend, I think, now. Yeah, I think that's helped. And don't worry about this piece, as we'll sort that out with the next ink. So I'll just start outside this time, working my way in. Just holding that moon down. You can see these brushes are great for the blending. Don't know what we ever did before them. Blending was a lot more difficult in my opinion. Oh, there we go. Let's go across the middle there to bring it together. I guess this one isn't great to judge on either. There were better ones than that. Just happened to be a brown on that one, so I said I'd go with it. There we go. And to bring in seedless preserves next. And thankfully, I do have a brush for that one. Stink it up. Start on the outside, blending inwards. You start off the edge of the cardstock and work your way in. It's probably the best way to go. I'll bring a bit more of that crackling campfire down. and blends it back in with the spiced marmalade. Just going around to lighten the edges around the moon to give it that light effect as though it's glowing. Yes, happy with that. I'm just going to give my workstation a wipe down. So that's cleaned down now. That's the good thing about the glass mats. You can just wipe it all away afterwards. You're not damaging anything. So fingers crossed we'll remove this moon template and hopefully the tape will remove okay without tearing my paper. Just kind of roll it off. Yep, that's fairly good. Now I know that some of it's hit here, but don't worry about that because I'm going to go lightly back over that and blend it in. I've just come in here with this squeezed lemonade. So I'm going to use that to just even out the bits around and inside the moon, just to put a light colour in there. And so that I can blend that bit of ink that kind of got away as well. It's giving it a more moony effect. A bit of moonlight around it. There we go. Yeah, that's fine. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my stencil. Now I am going to tape that down a bit. Just so it stays where I want it. I've used this one before and it's very nice. Put it on the sides as well. Now, so I think I'm going to use this bundled sage. It's not an oxide, but the colour is quite nice and it's not as chalky either as the oxides. Therefore, I feel it gives it a nice effect. So just ink that brush up well. And we'll start from the edge. It may look as though nothing is happening there, but trust me, it is. You don't want it to overpower your background. You just want to give it that nice effect. And I won't go too heavily over the moon, just kind of brush over it lightly and evenly. You could go in with a darker colour for this, but personally I just want it to kind of blend into the background. There we go. And now we'll take off our tape. To reveal our beautiful background. Isn't that just gorgeous? I love it. So I've just come in now with my stamping platform. My one is by Tim Holtz. And I'm going to put my background into the corner. The magnets on. Now the stamps I'm going to be using are, these are meadow mushrooms. So I'm going to place that where I want it. And this little fairy is called Oona. So first of all, I'm going to stamp the mushroom. Now these stamps are fairly old, so they're well used and well loved, but they still work perfectly. So I'm going to go ahead and ink the mushrooms up. Actually, I might use a different colour. I think I'll use Twilight. I'm going to use the VersaFine Clair. This is a new one for the mushroom. Sorry, you can't see what I'm doing there. Just inking that up. Yeah. Not to worry. Kind of know where I want it anyway. It's my mistake. I didn't make sure it was on properly. Hopefully that'll work out. Maybe add a bit of wet to the stamp. Pick it up. Like I said, haven't used these stamps in a while. It's quite a nice colour. New one to me. Very good. I'm just going to wipe that off. And I won't make the same mistake this time. Maybe just give it a rub over. Now I'm going to place Oona on top of the mushroom. And it's kind of important that I get the placement right with this, so that she's actually touching. There we go. She's touching the top of the mushroom. Just make sure I have it tucked into the corner. That's the good thing about the stamping platforms, and I'm just going to make sure. I just pull her down a tad. I think I hadn't the cardstock completely where it started off. Yeah. That's better that time. Now, so I'm going to use Nocturne to stamp Oona the fairy. Just give it a minute to leave the ink soak in, as there's so much going on in the background there. We'll ink her up again. If we didn't have the use of the stamping platform, this possibly would be a disaster. But thankfully, we can re-ink as needed. Now, it may possibly also be that I've had this particular Nocturne for a while. Just press down well. Almost there. I think possibly just one more go. So make sure all the ink is in there really well. I love these Lavinia stamps. Yes, that's it. It's perfect. Now, if there is any little pieces that don't stamp, you can always go in with a black marker and just dab them, which I have done before on occasion. You don't always need to. I think that that's very good. Let's wipe that off. And the next stamp I'm going to come in with is this bonnet set. It's another Lavinia Stamps. And I'm just going to, there's two of these. Yes, there we go. They're both different lengths. Just want to go into the edge with that one. Possibly come down a bit there with that. And again, it's been a while since I've used them, so there we go. Just going to press that back into the corner. And for this one, I'm going to use Rainforest. It's another VersaFine Clear ink. We'll just ink that up well. Let's go back in with another bit. I think I actually missed pressing on that one. What happened? Remove that one a minute. perfect. Just need to clean these off before each placement. Seems like a bit of work, but at least you can re-stamp it then when you need to, so it's worth it. Move this magnet. And actually I think I'll move the card out from the edge so that I can put this where I want it. Remove that one. I'm going to ink that one up again. Let's go back in there. There we go. Place that one down there. Maybe just a couple of little bits here and there just to finish it off. So that's it. Now I'm going to remove that from the stamping platform. I'm just going to leave it dry a little bit. Now just a hint for this. I thought before that my stamping platform was destroyed because no matter what I put on, it just wouldn't come off. I couldn't remove it, so I found with the bit of hand gel, sanitizing gel, if you give it a rub, it's like magic. Just takes everything off. I had it there one time for weeks, and I like to keep everything clean in my craft room. And I was so destroyed, to be honest with you, because I just couldn't remove the VersaFine Clair from it. But that does the trick. Anyway, I'm going to bring back my picture, and this time I'm going to use an acrylic block, and I'm going to go ahead, and I think I'll use the meadow mushroom again. Why isn't that sticking? I'm going to get a piece of scrap paper, just a bit here, and I'm going to ink that up with the Twilight. But I'm going to stamp it off first and just have like a second generation stamp, just lighter than the other one. And that's fine. Maybe even the same thing again without re-inking it. I done with the lid, sorry. And then I'm going to come in with just some grass. So I'm going to use the green rainforest for that. There we go. Just gives the illusion that it's in a forest. We'll put our lid back on. Do a bit of clean up here again. So next now I'm going to come in with my Monarch VersaFine Clear, and I'm going to go around the edges just to frame it. So I'm going to start off the edge, as I've said before, and just work my way in. Just all along the edge. And as you can see here, my ink wasn't fully dried, so that's why I've got that smudge. We won't worry about that. It'll just blend in. Should have waited a bit longer. The rest of it looks okay. I'll wait and come back over that piece again. I'm just going back over to make it a little bit darker. So I think that's about it. We'll just wipe down that surface again. So I've just done a bit of tidy up there, and I brought back in my, my card base. Now the original plan was to matte and layer it like that, but I'm feeling that it needs something white behind to make it pop a bit more. So I've gone ahead and I've cut this piece of cardstock just slightly larger than my design. So I'm going to put that behind there, and I think that that frames it nicely. Now also I've washed my hands and again used the alcohol ink because I don't want to come back and touch my white card with dirty hands. These inks can be very messy. It's great fun to play with. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that together with some double-sided tape. So here's the final result. I think it turned out very beautiful. It could be used as a birthday card. You could place a sentiment on it, or you could frame it and give it to somebody as a gift. They really are beautiful Lavinia stamps, and those distress inks are just stunning. So I hope you've enjoyed watching, and hopefully you'll be inspired to make something. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Just looking at the card there when I finished, and I realised that I never grounded my mushrooms and it's been annoying me. So I just said I'd pop back, got a bit of the walnut stain and this little sponge applicator again, and I'm going to just put a little bit in there just to ground that. Should have done that first.